I just wanted to run through a few of the questions real quick. So this says, given that f of x equals x squared minus 15x and g of x equals x plus 12, find f plus g. That just means we add the two together, right? F plus g means f of x plus g of x. F of x is x squared minus 15x. G of x is x plus 12. Combine, and it says, well, we go to x squared, the minus 15x plus x is minus 14x plus 12. Okay, there's our addition right there. Be careful with subtraction, like I talked about in the assignment. Right, that's taking x squared minus 15x minus, make sure you put the g of x in parentheses, and the minus carries through to everything in g of x. F times. Now on here, it doesn't say we have to simplify. So when I go, f of x times g of x, x squared minus 15x times x plus 12. I don't have, this is just a screenshot of the assignment. I don't have it open in front of me. But if it doesn't say to simplify it, we probably are fine just leaving the answer like that. Now you could multiply it out, right? X squared times x squared times 12, minus 15 times x, minus 15x times 12. And you could multiply it all out and combine like terms. But where it doesn't say to simplify it, it's not really necessary. Sometimes with the division, right, f of x divided by g of x, we overthink it. You could factor an x out of there, but there's not a factor of x in the bottom. That's just our answer. Like, we don't have to go any further. So don't overthink it as you go down through there. Now we're plugging in numbers. So remember, there's two ways to do it. Is I could find, number one, I could find out what is f of x plus g of x, right? F of x is x squared minus 6x minus 7 plus g of x, x plus 1. Add them together, x squared minus 5x minus 6. And then I could plug in 1. So that'd be 1 minus 5 minus 6. So that's what, a negative 10? Now, if you wanted to, and I think this is easier, I could just go like this. I could go f of 1 plus g of 1. Let's see, well, f of 1 would be, let's see, 1 minus 6 minus 7. I think that's a negative 12 plus g of 1. Plug 1 in, 1 plus 1 is 2. Add it together, you get that same answer. So you can either find your answer first, find out what f plus g of x is, and then plug into 1. Or you could plug into 1 into f and plug the 1 into g and just add it together. Down here, we're going to subtract it, times it, and divide it. I think that's pretty straightforward. These are some of the ones I wanted to show you. So it says, use the graph at the right and the table of value. So the graph of f of x is shown, and the table of values is g of x. Evaluate the functions. So this first one wants me to find f plus g of 4. So that means f of 4 plus g of 4. All right, that's what f plus g of 4 is. So what is f of 4? Just remember, 4 is the input. So I come to 4, I'm going to find my point, and that means 5 is the y value is the output. Like, that point is 4, 5. So if I put 4 in, I get 5 back out. Down at the bottom, input is 4, I get 8 back out, right? My point is 4, 8. So if I plug 4 into f, I get 5. I plug 4 into g, I get 8. Add them together, we get 13 there. This is going to be just like it, f of 3 times g of 3. Now this one, right, this is now the composition of functions. So I have g of f of 1. Well, that means I'm going to go g of f of 1. So remember, we start by plugging 1 into f and find out what we get back out. Well, that's the graph. Let's do it a different color here. So if I plug 1 in, that's this point. When x is 1, you have that point, and the y value is 2. So if I plug 1 in, I get 2 back out. So now I have g of 2. Right, I plug 1 into f, I got 2 back out, so I'm going to plug the 2 into g. When I plug 2 into g down here, that's this point. I plug 2 in, I get 3 back out. So the answer on that one is 3. Now, I don't think we ever did one on our notes where you plugged a function into itself, but this is what it means. It means g of 0. So that means I plug 0 into g. Whatever I get back out, I plug into g again. So that's kind of weird because you're plugging a function into itself, but it works. So let's plug 0 in. It's right here. So if I plug 0 in, I get 6 back out. So now I have g of 6. So now plug 6 in. When I plug 6 in, I get, so right, I plug 0 into g, I got 6 back out. I took the 6 and now plug it back into g again, and I get 7 back out, right? When I put 6 in, I get 7 back out. So the answer is 7 right there. So that's a little bit tricky. Question 4, this is really similar. You're just looking at the graphs. All right, what is f of negative 2? Well, that's just coming out. This one's, I believe this one's f of x. This one's g of x. So f of negative 2, when I put negative 2 in right there, what's that point? Negative 2, 0, right? When I put negative 2 in, I get 0 back out. G of negative 2, that's that point right there. That's negative 2, negative 1. So I plug in negative 2, I get negative 1 back out. Well, what is f plus g of negative 2? Well, I know what f of negative 2 is. It's 0. And g of negative 2 is negative 1. Just add them together. Same thing there, except you're going to subtract them. Yeah, those are all pretty similar. But if it's helpful, right, whenever I have an input like 1, just find where x is 1 on the graph. That's the point, and write down the coordinates, right? That's 1, negative 1. So when I plug 1 in, my output is negative 1. Going across there. So we want to find f of g of 18. All I'm doing is plugging 18 into g, and whatever my output is, I'm going to plug into f. So if I plug 18 into g, I'd have, right, g of 18. Let's figure out what that is. What is that? Square root of 18 plus 1? Well, that's the square root of 19. So now I take the square root of 19 and plug it into f. So I have 2 times the square root of 19 plus 5. Let's just leave the answer like that. If it tells you to approximate it, you can, but this is the exact answer. So I would just type it in just like that, 2 square root of 19 plus 5. Okay, now it wants me to go the opposite way. It wants me to go g of f of 18. So plug 18 into f first. So that would be what? 2 times 18, I think that's 36 plus 5. 41? You guys can check my math on that, but I think it's 41. So now take 41 and plug it into g. That'd be the square root of 41 plus 1. And well, that's just the square root of 42. And that does not come out evenly, right? That's an irrational number, so we're just going to leave it like that. Let's see what else is on here. Okay, here's a composition of functions. So first one, f of g of x. Okay, I'm going to go, I wish, it's kind of a weird way to write it. I kind of wish they had parentheses there, but it's okay. So f of g of x. Start with your inside one, which is g of x. It's x plus 7. Okay, take x plus 7. We're going to plug it in for x here and x here. So that would be x plus 7 squared minus 2 times x plus 7. Okay, now we can either work, now if it tells us to work this out, like to simplify it, we need to multiply out that x plus 7, right? X plus 7 times x plus 7 minus, you'd have to times that 2 through, multiply all this out and combine like terms. But if it doesn't tell you to, don't do that. Up here, it never tells you to simplify. We can leave the answer just like that. I'm going to skip past that next one. You're just going to reverse it. But I do want to show you this one. Let's do this bottom one. Again, we didn't do one of these on our practice. So this means g of x. So we're taking the function and plugging it inside of itself. We'll just start with the inside function. What is g of x? So I've got g of, and g of x is x plus 7. Okay, now I take x plus 7, and I'm going to plug it in back into g. So everywhere there's an x, I'm going to replace it with an x plus 7. So x plus 7 plus 7. And I know I really don't need those parentheses, right? Because we're adding. So that'd be x plus 14. So kind of weird, but you're taking one function and plugging it inside of the other function. This is really similar to the last one. Just keep in mind, if it does not tell you to simplify, you do not have to. Let's just do one of these because you got these ugly fractions. But I have f of g of x is the first one. Well, g of x is 6 over x plus 6. Plug that in. So I have 1 over x minus 6 Whoops, sorry about that. 1 over, and I need to replace the x with 6 over x plus 6. That replaced that x right there. I still have the minus 6. And if it doesn't tell you to simplify, we should be okay, but this one does simplify. The 6 minus 6 is 0. So I have 1 over 6 over x. Hey, dividing by a fraction is the same as timesing by its reciprocal. So I think in the end you end up with x over 6. But you can try this. When it doesn't say to simplify, I think we ought to be able to put that in there and it should work from what I've been told. So this question number 8, this is really similar. The first one, you just plug in a number in. Just plug -1 into g. Whatever you get back out, plug that into f. This is just a composition of functions, the same thing we've done. The same thing using a table. So the table can be a little confusing. So if I want to find the first one, f of g of 5, first plug 5 into g. So I come up here, here's 5. When I plug it into g, I get 9 back out. So now I have f of 9. So now I come back up here, 9's right there. This time I'm plugging into f, so I get 9 back out. So it's a little confusing the way that table is written, but same thing as we've done. Okay, so we've got this big application problem. It says the number of bacteria in a refrigerated food product is given by. So here says the number of bacteria in, whoops, shouldn't have been that 3, right? As long as the temperature is between 3 and 33 degrees. 33 degrees. Let me just circle this. So this is our function right there, where T is the temperature of the food. When the food is removed from the refrigerator, the temperature is given by, this is the, where T is the time in hours. Find the composition, sorry, of functions N of T of T. So to start with your inside one, this would be N of, and T of T is 9T plus 1.7. Okay, now take this, and everywhere there's a T up in N, we're going to replace it. So it's going to be 30 times 9T plus 1.7 squared minus 95 times there's another T. So we're going to replace it with 9T plus 1.7. And then plus 68. Okay, so that should be my composition of functions right there. That's what it comes out to. Okay, now it says find the time when the bacteria reaches 17,027. Give your answer to the accurate to the last 2 decimal places. So for that case, I don't love this second part of the question. In fact, I'll make sure you all get credit for it. I don't care if you just skip it. If I want to find the time needed, that means it tells me the bacteria count, which is this. So I have to go 1,727 equals that big long thing, 30 times NT plus 1.7 squared minus 95 times 9T plus 1.7 plus 68. And we have to solve that, that we're not going to solve that by hand. So the way you'd solve it is you'd minus this over to the other side and get it equal to 0. And then if you remember from 995 or from previous math classes, what we do is we take that equation that's equal to 0 and you graph it and you find the zeros of the function, like where does it cross the x-axis, just using a graphing calculator, and those are your solutions. We haven't done that in here. I'm not worried about it. I'd be perfectly fine if you skip that second half of the question. That's up to you. If you want to give it a try, that's great too. I'll look at the scores once everybody's done it and make sure if I need to adjust it, I'll adjust it there. Anyway, hopefully that helps you with those questions. Good luck.